Welcome to J&J Dynasty. We're back at you a little bit late here for an early June update on some drafts. Got a couple more coming, but just getting this one up to you guys so you guys can see this one for a couple days, and hopefully by the weekend I can have the end of June stuff going here for you. So this is going to be early June, mid-June draft results for MFL one quarterback dynasty leagues, PPR. All right, so let's get into this video. We can see here that I've got showing you how everything's going. So as you can see to the far left, you got 511 and 512. I put a little different colored mark on the number 12, so you know when the new round starts. So 6-1, obviously. So this is the bottom page, all right? So then you would have there, you know, the number of the pick, 59 or 60 overall, and that's what gets put into the cells here. The clear column or the empty column would be their name. 265 denotes that they were not drafted in a league. I'm trying to do something a little bit different, and I'm trying to put in the reds for the highest they were drafted and the greens for the lowest, all right? So the biggest reach. So maybe you can see their high and their low end on some of these. And then I put the number in there, 265, the number after 264, because 12 teams by 22 rounds is 264. So 265 means that they weren't drafted, trying to make it as accurate as possible. Now I know that a couple of these might be wrong as far as the high ranking and the low ranking ones, but you have those are gonna, so the 265s are gonna add up to the very last column, the 2385. Then that's going to be divided by the number of drafts. So I know that I'm doing it right if I've got 265 to the far right with the number of drafts that happen. So let's get into the video that kind of explains how the data is done. And so we'll just kind of get into it here. All right, I don't know. Hopefully this thing will pop up, and there we go. So this is our round one. And so we have Genty, Hampton, Tet, Henderson, Judkins, Travis Hunter, Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Golden, Warren, Mbuka, and Loveland. So that's your top ones. And you can see on there, and once again, the gray line was a sleeper draft I used for that. So the very first line after the to the right of the gray line, that was the very first MFL one quarterback draft. The rest of these are all early June drafts, early to mid-June. So you get the average overall. And one thing I was going to say about the Ashton Genty going number 2 there, as opposed to number 1, the guy in that league had the first and the second overall pick, so he flipped them, and that's how you get that. So really, nobody chose Hampton over Genty as far as that goes. So other than that, I mean, you had the one outlier on Hampton at the number 3 overall, and hopefully you can see that on your roster. My screen, the red is blurring out the numbers a little bit. I know what they are, and I can see them a little bit, but I just want to make sure that you have those on there. So those are the highs and the lows. Obviously, the far yellow line, you get the average again. And what I always like to look for is, like, say, Mbuka, pick 11. He's going off on the average through all the drafts at 11.4. So there's definitely a cutoff in these drafts, and it's going to be in the 3rd round where guys start getting not picked, and it's a pretty. You'll see some lines here in these draft picks. So with this, I always put a picture between somebody, and the RJ Harvey was surprising because he had a couple of second overall. He had a second and a third overall draft choices and stuff like that. And you got to remember, those choices were made before the J.K. Dobbins signing. So we'll go through the next draft or the next video or two to see if RJ Harvey actually maintains or falls with his draft status. So let's get into the second round here. So on average here, we're talking about Burton, Scadaboo, Higgins, Tootin, Harris, Betch, Blue, Ward, Kyle Williams, Taylor Mason, or Mason Taylor, and Noel and Neal. So that's kind of how it went early. And you can see some highs and lows. Devin Neal was sticking here at 212, even though he was all the way out at pick 44 in one of the drafts. So he was pretty consistently right at the turn, but that's how much fluctuation are in the drafts. These drafts, he still holds it down with a, basically 212 with a 44 and a 34. And as you can see, his average, he's a 24th rookie off the board, but his average draft selection is 27.3. And what I always like to keep note of is, like I was just kind of talking. Let me see here. Where is the divergence? So pick 22. Mason Taylor. He's the 22nd rookie off the board. He's averaging being picked by 27.7. After that, it starts falling off. Noel is 2 off, and Neil is 3 off. So that's kind of the point where the draft really starts loosening up. And then in the next round, we're going to see what happens after that. So I put down Trey Harris. I mean, he was wildly fluctuating in the draft. So that's what I wanted to say with him. And he's obviously, the big play receiver. He actually kind of reminds me of A.J. Brown watching his videos. So take that with a grain of salt for those of you out there. That's that. Let's get into the third round here. And as you can see, once you hit 3.7, below 3.7, you got guys there with the big red blocks at 265. So 3.7 is kind of your all-time cutoff. After 3.7 in your drafts, it's a crapshoot. Anything goes hog wild. Guys below that haven't been drafted in at least 1, if not 2 leagues. So, I mean, I had put a little bit more stock into the guys who were in the very first league that didn't get drafted. They didn't draft many guys. They were very stingy on their cuts, so they didn't draft a lot of players. So I just wanted to put that out there as far as that goes. So you can see the numbers as they go, but you definitely see the yellow line on the far right. It goes from 38 to 56. There's a definite line of delineation there between those guys. So just look at the tiers and kind of go from there. So with that being said, yeah, we got good guys here. Oh man, I love putting the pictures in there. Makes it a little bit more fun. So in the 4th round here, we have Horton Show, Jalen Milroe, and I don't know why anybody would be drafting him. ETN, Tesla, Tulsa, whatever, Brooks, Fannin, Merritt, Shador, Gordon, Williams, and Felton. And you can see on several of these guys, they didn't get drafted many times in some leagues. So there's definitely chunks of delineation in here with how I do this. So, and literally it's been very, very stingy with the rookies that are getting drafted, because many times I'll have almost 6 full rounds of guys by the end of the year, and my rookie list, as I keep adding, isn't growing very much here over the first, half of a draft cycle. And so that's kind of disturbing. So, yeah, it is what it is. How do you argue with that, right? So, and let's get into the last one. See, Manangai, Esrepo, Glad, Ronde, Gadsden, Lane, Martinez. And you can see even some of these guys at the bottom, McCord and Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson wasn't even drafted, right? So, we got that. I actually did the Isaiah Bond. It might be a sneaky pick for other people out there. I wound up trading back to the last pick in the draft. There wasn't a whole lot out there, so I said, actually my play was I wanted to draft him. I drafted him, and I was going to cut Kirk Cousins because I kept him, not knowing how the draft would play out, because I had 4 quarterbacks. Deontay Johnson was cut. I had Jerry Jeudy, and I said, you know what? For $5, I'm going to pick up Jerry Jeudy or Deontay Johnson, cut Kirk Cousins, and that way have 2 Cleveland receivers. Hopefully that gives me the number 1 guy there. So then I just drafted Bond with a take a shot at me. Hopefully get some information on his legal case by the time I have to do a cut down and either cut him down or whatever. Maybe he's going to get on a suspended list or something, and then I can put him on IR. So that was kind of that. And as we said, so Tez Johnson, he's one of the guys who was at the bottom of the list. And so that's the picture of that. That's the real quick video to give you guys the update on all of the numbers. I just wanted to get that cranked out to you so you guys can take a look at that. Hopefully you can pause enough on there so you can hit pause pretty easily and see the numbers with the guys and kind of go from there. All right. Well, until next time, I'll have you take care. Looking forward to the next episode. and just let's go from there. And I'll keep giving you the information sooner than later here. Look for another video here. This is before the end of the month. Well, July's closing in shortly here, so I'll give you the end of June results here. I got one more draft I'm tracking in there into the 4th round. So, all right, sounds great. Talk to you next time.